Hey,
Good, okay. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the September 2019 meeting of the Finance Committee. First up on the agenda is the adoption of the meeting minutes from the July meeting of the Finance Committee. Can I please get a motion to approve those meeting minutes? Thank you very much. Second, all in favor, aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. We're going to be addressing three financings today. First up is the Rochester Institute of Technology. That's behind tab 3, and Steve will be presenting. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you. The Finance Committee is being asked to recommend to the full board the adoption of the necessary documents for fixed and variable rate tax exempt and taxable bonds with a not to exceed of $375 million on behalf of Rochester Institute of Technology. This past June, staff presented to the Finance Committee and to the full board a resolution to proceed for an amount not to exceed $230 million on behalf of RIT. The purposes included various construction and renovation costs, refinancing of taxable bank loans, and refunding DASNY's RIT Series 2010 bonds. Since the resolution to proceed, the Institute has requested that DASNY also approve of financing which will include the refunding of DASNY's RIT Series 2012 bonds. To accommodate the refunding of the Series 2012 bonds, staff is requesting an increase in the not-to-exceed amount to $375 million. The addition of the 2012 refunding and the increase in the not-to-exceed amount as a result is the reason we're bringing RIT financing back to the Finance Committee today. The Series 2012 bonds are not callable until July 1st, 2022, and cannot currently be refunded with tax-exempt bonds. Therefore, the 2012 refunding bonds are expected to be sold on a taxable basis. The Series 2012 refunding is expected to result in net present value savings of approximately $13 million, or 9.5% of the bonds being refunded. As part of the overall plan of finance, RIT anticipates issuing up to $30 million of the issuance through a private placement with M&T Bank or affiliates as the purchaser. The private placement bonds are expected to have a variable interest rate with a 7-year hold period and a 30-year principal amortization. The private placement bonds are expected to be used on new money projects and will be drawdown bonds. The balance of the proposed financing is expected to be issued through fixed rate negotiated sales. It's anticipated that there will be 2 series of fixed rate tax exempt bonds and 1 series of fixed rate taxable bonds. 1 fixed rate tax exempt series is expected to finance approximately $120 million of the new money projects and to refinance the taxable bank loan. The other fixed rate tax exempt series is expected to be used to refund the Series 2010 bonds. As you may recall from June, the Series 2010 refunding bonds are expected to have a forward delivery, whereby the bonds are expected to price in September and close on or after April 3rd, 2020, when the issue qualifies as current refunded. The fixed rate taxable bonds are expected to be used to refund the Series 2012 bonds, which I discussed earlier. Moody's has published a rating of A1 on the bonds being sold publicly. The TEPR hearing was held on August 30th. The CFIRT filing has been completed, and PACB provided its original approval on June 19th. However, the resolution needs to be amended to accommodate the Series 2012 refunding, and we're anticipating the amended PACB approval tomorrow afternoon. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Any questions, concerns?
This is Tracy,
Sure.
just to make sure I understand, so the Series 2012 refinancing is taxable, even on a taxable rate, given market conditions, it results in net present value savings.
That's right.
What this should say.
Rates have improved significantly since they first came to us, and that's why it wasn't included the first time, but now it's pretty far into the money.
And it's taxable because it can't be advanced.
That's right. Under current tax law, it cannot be current refunded until 2022 on a tax exempt basis.
Great, thank you.
You can see, you're going to pay out the present values. And it's actually nicely spread out, the present values. I know for your friend Sandra used to always point that out. You can see how it's nicely. Anything else?
Not for me, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Hearing no other questions, can I get a motion, please, to recommend approval of this offering at tomorrow's full board meeting?
So moved.
Thank you. Second, thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. Thank you very much, Steve. Matt's going to take us over the next two. First, behind tab 4 is a kit offering, and I believe there's a little adjustment that was just added to that, right?
Yes, thank you. And good afternoon, everyone. The handout that you were provided with takes out the New York State bond issuance charge. So we are now showing this transaction again without the New York State bond issuance charge as being part of the cost of issuance. So the Finance Committee is being asked to recommend to the full board the issuance of a series of tax-exempt variable rate refunding bonds issued in an amount of approximately $79 million with a final maturity no later than the final maturity of the refunded bonds, which is March 15th, 2033. The bonds will be sold on a negotiated basis under the Personal Income Tax Revenue Bond Program. The proposed bonds to be issued will refund the New York State Housing Finance Agency State Personal Income Tax Revenue Bonds 2005 Series C. The HFA bonds were issued as variable rate demand bonds, and JP Morgan Chase Bank has provided a standby bond purchase agreement, otherwise known as a liquidity facility, whereby the bank will agree to purchase the HFA bonds tendered or deemed tendered for purchase and not remarketed. At the time of issuance, HFA entered into a synthetic fixed rate swap with JP Morgan Chase Bank that matures on March 15, 2033, which corresponds to the final maturity date of the HFA bonds. The Division of Budget has requested that DASNY refund the HFA bonds with variable rate demand bonds and take on the corresponding synthetic fixed rate swap with JP Morgan Chase Bank to DASNY in order to streamline the state's debt portfolio. Other than the pricing, all of the terms of the existing HFA bonds will remain the same. The only change is that DASNY is now the issuer. It should be noted that with this refunding, there will be no savings attributable to this transaction. Under the Personal Income Tax Revenue Bond Program, the bonds will be paid by semi-annual payments made pursuant to the financing agreement between DASNY and the state, and the bonds are secured by a set-aside of 50% of personal income tax revenues collected pursuant to statute and 50% of the receipts of the employer compensation expense tax, with both taxes deposited in the Revenue Bond Tax Fund. The current debt service coverage on all outstanding state personal income tax bonds is 6.4 times. And just to note on the swap, we talk about DASNY stepping into the shoes of HFA as far as the swap goes. The swap is a fixed payer swap where DASNY will now pay the counterparty a fixed rate of 3.3355%. DASNY receives 65% of LIBOR, which approximates the rate of the tax-exempt bonds that are paid to the bondholders, because the bondholders hold a variable rate debt. They purchase variable rate bonds, and that is ultimately what the bondholder will receive, a variable rate interest rate from DASNY. Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Questions?
I had several, Mr. Chairman, but I was able to speak with Matt before this meeting, and the answers to my questions are reflected in his presentation. So, give me these there. And thank you, Matt.
Welcome.
This is our first hit of 19. We did like the sales tax bond, huh?
We did a competitive deal in June.
Oh, yep. And as far as the amount of money available, that's still
6.4
Okay.
times is the current debt service coverage.
And Matt, the elimination of the bond issuance charge, is that?
That was something that was just being discussed, and upon the direction of the Division of Budget, they will seek that waiver, and that is why the changes to the cost of issuance were made.
So that's
Correct,
Yeah.
at the Division of Budget's direction.
about $660,000 savings, right?
Yeah, it, certainly it behooves the state in that instance. Yes.
Thank Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? John, anything? No? Okay. Hearing none, can I please get a motion to recommend approval of this at tomorrow's full board meeting? Thank you.
Second.
Thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. The motion carries. Last up is the Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center. That's behind tab 5, and Matt's going to be presenting that offer also. Please, Matt, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, the Finance Committee is being asked to recommend to the full board a financing on behalf of Memorial Sloan Kettering Cancer Center, which is located in Manhattan. The bond issue will be for a 30-year term for an amount not to $345 million. And the projects will include a portion of paying for the construction costs of the ambulatory care center in Manhattan. This is the David H. Koch Center for Cancer Care at East 74th Street by the FDR Drive. In addition, there'll be various equipment purchases at locations, including the new ambulatory care center. As noted, this is the David H. Koch Center for Cancer Care, as well as the Memorial Hospital for Cancer and Allied Diseases, and for other MSK facilities located at 417 East 68th Street and 430 East 67th Street. Just to talk about the main project of this financing, the David H. Koch Center for Cancer Care, again at East 74th Street by the FDR Drive. This is a 760,000 square foot building that will provide clinical space for multiple oncology services, including infusion rooms, various consultative services, a radiation oncology program, diagnostic imaging, as well as interventional radiology, various clinical support services, as well as a conference center and various administrative offices. By the time full occupancy is reached, the building is projected to accommodate over 1,300 patients, 2,600 visitors, and will provide the employment of up to 1,600 staff per day. The security features of this transaction will include general obligation of the Center Corporation, as well as guarantees from the Sloan Kettering Institute for Cancer Research and SKI Realty, Inc. The expected ratings are AA3, AA-, and AA. Regarding Memorial Sloan Kettering, this is a multi-billion-dollar corporation with over $10.6 billion in assets, nearly $4.2 billion in total liabilities, which leaves it with over $6.4 billion in total net assets. Through June 30th, an operating gain of $161.7 million was recorded on approximately $2.67 billion in total operating revenues. In looking at utilization, outpatient visits have increased, which is indicative of the shift in the delivery of cancer care to the outpatient setting. The expansion of the hospital's regional network of outpatient sites has been a major contributor to the growth of outpatient visits. And just to conclude, I wanted to give an update to the plan of finance, and we'll include this and talk about this tomorrow as well. The institution is looking to do a portion of the bond issue competitively, and this will be through their financial advisors portal on a web-enabled auction platform whereby the underwriting syndicate will bid with the winning bidders quoting the lowest TIC. And again, this is just for a portion of the bond issue, which approximates $340 million. Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. Questions?
I have questions, Mr. Chairman. This is a great client to have. Great.
I just had one. The David Koch Cancer Center, right, which is being funded by this offering. The construction of that building is well underway and almost completed?
That's correct. They are looking at staging the floors as they open the facility with full occupancy by the first quarter of next year.
Well, that's exciting. So the building will be up and running and open hopefully by the early part of next year.
That's my understanding.
Thank you very much.
I mean, that whole area has changed with all of the development at all of the hospitals, HSS as well as Memorial Sloan, so.
Thank you.
Presbyterian.
That's right.
Thank you very much. Is health
It's a very strong credit. We don't issue our typical recommendation memo because this is done through the DASNY
Got
statute,
it. Okay.
not the NIFLA
I'm
statute,
sorry,
but we're,
Tracy, because what?
because it's being issued under the DASNY statute, not the with the statute. But we're very much, we've approved the ambulatory care project. This is a great project. We're very supportive of Memorial Sloan Kettering.
They're a great institution, good client.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Matt. Any other questions or concerns? John, anything? Hearing none, no questions, can I please get a motion to recommend approval at tomorrow's full board meeting? Thank you. Thank you very much. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries. I believe that should conclude, I don't think there's any help or anything, right? So that concludes my, unless there's any questions or concerns from anybody? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Thank you. Second, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? None. Thank you very much. Thank you to all. I had a quick question for, when you go off?